What's up, guys, and welcome to the NGMI podcast, where three boys talk about stuff. We're more like men than boys, but today we have a little bit of flavor. Not just three dicks in the room. We got our mom.
Yeah. How do you go about?
Wait, okay. If you're gonna hold the mic, you gotta lift it up.
Hold up the mic.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Should I redo the intro? Was that weird?
Three dicks in the room is kind of weird because how do I respond to that?
Our mother's in the room, Scott.
Scott.
I don't know. You're open. We always talk about the first time you called me and when me and Jack
so
were...
we have three dicks and one puss.
Ew, Mom.
Is that
right.
how I respond?
I get it. It was an uncomfortable thing for me to say, and I take it back. My bad.
This
Thank
is your
you.
doing, Scott.
One old one too. That's even
Whoa!
grosser.
Stop it! Stop it! So you had a trip out here. You were in Thousand Oaks, right?
Yes.
Doing some babysitting.
Well, they're young men, so I wouldn't call it babysitting, but I was with them, and my nephews.
Did you do anything fun?
I watched him play soccer, and he umped a baseball game, and it was pretty cool because all the boys played soccer. You played soccer?
No, I didn't.
My one son did not play soccer, but the rest of the four boys played soccer, and it brought back memories.
Weren't we all pretty bad at soccer too?
I scored a goal on my own team once.
I've done that on hockey as well.
That's
So we both
embarrassing.
suck, Scott.
Scott was not roller hockey, worst ever.
What?
I wasn't worse.
No, you weren't worse. Well, Scott was too.
Oh, I was young. I was like 7 or 8 or something.
I know,
wasn't I?
but you didn't have that instinct of kill. You know, I think you even mentioned it on one of your
I'm a
vlogs.
Yeah, he said Todd has it, but he doesn't.
He knocked into the kid and then stopped and went over and apologized.
Tried to help him up.
That's
I didn't
sweet.
know. I was just a little kid playing a game that I didn't know anything about. All right, you guys should have raised me watching hockey. Then I would have known that you were supposed to beat the shit out of the other kids.
And that was the first time I met Jocelyn. And of course, she thought you were extremely sweet, which you are, and she is. And
You're talking about stepmom Jocelyn.
Stepmom Jocelyn. And me, I'm like, "Ugh, what do you mean sweet? He should have kept going.
It's a fucking wimp.
He didn't
Wrong
kill
with
him.
my son. Hey, if I was playing the game now, I'd probably do the same thing.
I used to do the same thing as well. I didn't want to run into anyone, so I'd always try and go around them. I was awful at
How'd you
hockey.
manage in wrestling? Kind of being a nice guy.
Wrestling was just I knew it was a sport, and I was trying to kick some ass, and when it was wrestling.
Okay,
so,
please tell the story when you first wrestled the first female.
I was just gonna say that.
What is that story?
That's rough.
You don't
You
know it?
don't remember?
No,
You wrestled a
You
girl?
remember it?
I was in the stands. Scott,
I must have tried to block it out.
Scott
What
before
happened?
the game was telling mom how he's nervous to wrestle his girl because obviously don't know what
Right.
to do with that. And Scott gets out on the mat, and I remember the match starts, and mom was watching. She's getting all upset on the stands. I'm sitting next to her, and she's going, "Just fucking grab her, Scott! Grab her!"
He's not sure where to put his hands.
Right.
You know?
And then after that, Scott flipped her, and I was like, "Ah!"
It's such an interesting co-ed sport when you
Yeah.
do have to wrestle the opposite
Yeah.
sex, because I didn't feel like I was allowed to touch her anywhere.
Right.
You don't want to beat up a girl, but you also don't want to get beat up by a girl.
She ended up being supremely good.
Supremely. Did I win though?
No, you won that one, but she went on further.
Huh.
Past. She became really good.
There was a legendary, not legendary, but she was a really, really good wrestler. Her name was Victoria, I believe. And
At your school?
Not at my school, no. But she wrestled in some of the tournaments, and Todd had to wrestle her because she was small, and Todd was a 103 pounder at the time, or maybe it was 112. But
How old?
Probably
sophomore year. Sophomore year.
112 pounds?
Todd was really small. He grew up.
Really?
He grew a lot more later. But I remember him
It's
being
like a 10-year-old.
he was, but he was so he was nervous too. And then it was a really good match. He was wrestling really well, but he got beat, and he was so pissed because he thought it was a technicality or something like that. But the girl was really, really
good.
good. She went on, I think,
Wow.
to do college wrestling and I
Damn.
think some sort of Olympic wrestling.
Wow.
Oh,
No
wow.
shame in that. No shame in losing to a girl. I did an arm wrestling match against a girl in middle school, which I I let her win, and I was so embarrassed. Like I didn't know how to deal with it because then afterwards I was made fun of for letting her win. But I didn't want to like beat her either. I don't know. This is like awkward.
Well,
It's an awkward situation.
Kind. That's kind.
Yeah.
I think.
Took the high road.
If you're kind in favor of other people, then you get shit on yourself. That's what I've come to learn. You know, you stick up for someone, you are nice to someone, then people look down on you as weak.
I forget what sports you played.
Swim team and lacrosse.
Yes. Bad mom.
Yeah, it's okay. I did football a little bit, but I got headaches a lot, so I stopped doing that.
Because you got hit in the head, or because you just got headaches?
I think just from like tackling and like practicing, I'd always have headaches, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Scott's dad did not want him to do football because
I was so bummed.
He did not want you to do football, but it turns out that wrestling is dangerous too.
Yeah.
He
was like all nervous about you like breaking an arm or something, and didn't you end up like breaking something in wrestling?
I shattered my kneecap in wrestling, and our brother Dave.
And David was like doing a practice run, and he went in, and the guy broke his leg. And George's like, "Yeah, this sport's way better than football."
Wow.
Dave was wrestling a kid that was 6 years younger than him or something.
But he was nervous.
He was
it was
nervous.
his first time ever doing a tournament or any practice.
That was the first time like wrestling, really. Like he'd done a couple.
Dave or
like,
the other guy?
David. But the kid was like a little kid that didn't know what he was doing either, and the kid like shot in on his leg, but his shoulder like hit my brother's shin, and he was like a little kid, so like a bone hitting a bone is like gonna, you know, it hasn't developed properly yet. You know, it's not ready.
And it was really funny because there's like a wall in between, like a curtained wall, and I remember me and Mom were like walking back and forth, like just like looking at different matches and stuff, and Dave was going up to his match, and we walked on the other side, and we just hear Dave go, "Ah!" And we walk back, and he's just on the ground. I remember Mom like going up to him, and he's like, "I'm never fucking wrestling."
Well, we
Did he quit after that?
No, he kept going.
Oh, okay.
After a while, but we can't bypass this part. Me and Mom were sitting there watching the match, like, get back up! Why are you being such a fucking weird? Why are you being a pussy?
And that's I will forever feel bad about, because your dad, of course, is concerned. You think it's like role reversal, you know? I'm like, come on, David. You know?
Looked like nothing happened though.
Yeah.
Right. I just wanted him to keep going, and then
Right.
he goes to get it's not doctors. What are they called?
The school nurse, basically.
And it was a guy, and he was actually pushing on David's bone, just telling him, you know, it will be okay. And it ends up.
Does it hurt? And then he gets an X-ray. It's
He like lifts
broken.
his leg up. Damn.
Yeah. So we were both like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have been yelling at him to keep going.
I can't believe you remember that. I would like some of those things that I
To be
did
forgotten.
to be forgotten. Because it's like, oops.
Did you ever have any like weird like weight cut stories with wrestling? Because I know that's a hard thing.
We're not supposed to cut weight with a sauna suit, but I did that a couple times where you put on like the plastic stuff and you just sweat. I like sweat profusely, and I think it comes from my brain telling me I have to lose weight for this match.
Right.
So like now I sweat a lot when I work out, but I didn't really cut weight except for my freshman year. I was supposed to wrestle 112s, and I cut down from 119s to 112s. I made weight, and then my coach was like, okay, you're going to wrestle 19s instead of 12s, and gave someone else the 12 spot. And I was like, I was so bummed. But then from then on, my coach had me wrestling like 1 to 2 weight classes up. So like I was not a technical wrestler. I was more like strength based. So like if someone was like, he had me wrestling like heavyweights and the 215s when I was sitting around 170 pounds. So I'd have to like eat more so that I could bump up
Oh, okay.
to bigger weight classes. But let's get off of wrestling because no one really
Yeah.
gives a fuck. I didn't even like watching wrestling, and I was a wrestler. So
Well, there's one funny story though. You were in a wrestling tournament, and it was an important one, and I'm like, come on, baby. And you literally like were wrestling and turned your head over like, what are you saying, Mom? And then went back to it.
stop calling me baby while I'm fighting.
I'm manly.
That's so funny. There was like the tournament too that we hosted at our school that Dad was he did the speaking.
Oh, and he's
kidding.
great at it. Yeah.
It was so funny. He was like, all right, next up on mat number 5, we have Andrew Parker from Costa Mesa versus, my son, Scott Sire. He's going up, match 5. Good luck to the other kid, but more luck to Scott. He wins. It's like, He's just like goofing off on the mic. He would like
around.
he was like making jokes the whole time, and everybody loved him. But whenever
No, he's so good, and he really doesn't like to go into public places, but he actually is so fun
He's
to
super
listen
funny,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's so funny to think about too. Like I think this is kind of similar to me as well. Like I'm not very good at being social in like any sort of social situation, and I think Dad is like good at it now because he doesn't really give a fuck anymore. Like it's so easy for him to just say what he wants and joke around. But like he did like drama in school.
Did
Really?
he?
Yeah, he was like in like school plays and shit.
I didn't know that.
You were married to him for how long? Who cares?
Not
Doesn't
long
matter.
enough. I didn't get that detail.
What roles did he play?
I
The
don't
Fiddler on the
fucking-
Roof?
I don't know that much.
The Beast from Beauty and the Beast? Could be.
I don't know. All I know is he did like drama class.
He
and
did
stuff.
something.
Okay, your dad reminds me of the cartoon movie Up.
The old guy.
Yes,
He's
so much.
That's not a good
Carl.
comparison.
It is. It's
getting there.
so he looks. It just
kinda
reminds
look
me
like
of him.
He has the square head. Square head, and if you wear the glasses, we get the square glasses that the guy wears, then he'll definitely look just like it. And he's got a big golden retriever mix
got the
dog.
shoes,
Oh,
too.
yeah. Is he grumpy like him or no?
He can sound grumpy, but he's like usually joking when he's
Yeah.
grumpy.
Oh, God.
Ah, you fucking idiot, or whatever.
Yeah, he's always jovial. Actually,
And his house like kind of flies away sometimes.
with balloons.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Oh, yeah. Do you have any embarrassing stories of Scott or Kevin that you can tell?
Preferably a Scott.
Wait,
We want some gossip.
before we get into embarrassing stories
Okay.
about us.
Okay.
How's life been? You know,
Yeah, how's life
what's been
been?
up
Sure.
since we grew up making vines together? How's life been since that ended?
Well,
when I moved out, you moved away. What's
you
life
guys
been like?
moved out, both of you.
Yes.
We
Scott
all-
and I
we all
moved out
did.
together.
I miss everybody being in the same house now, and I could actually cry.
Don't cry.
It used to be, it used to drive me crazy sometimes because there was always something going on. There was always somebody at the house. I was always fixing food, which I love to do. And then it got quiet.
Yeah.
And then it felt lonely. Does that make sense?
It makes
Because
sense.
you're, as a mom, you want to always fix foods. Like when people came over, I would, be fixing foods or doing something.
Right.
And then other times I'd be like, oh my gosh, they're playing Minecraft and they're screaming and yelling. And who's cussing up there? Oh, it's somebody in another part of the world.
Well, just to clear this up, we weren't in the Minecraft era when we were kids. That was
But
that's-
other
that's
games,
later.
you
That
know
was,
what I
we were in
mean.
It was
Halo,
Gears of
God
War,
of
Halo,
War,
yeah.
Gears of War. Kevin was yelling, "You're dickless! You're dickless! You have no dick!"
I remember there was one time I was watching David play Gears of War on the TV, and I was like too young to be watching that anyway. But I was watching him.
See,
And
another bad thing on me.
You were busy. I snuck behind you. But David's in there, and David gets into the games. He always has. And I remember he was sitting there playing, and someone was in like some like crazy ass spot, like sniping him like on like cooldown, and
Yeah.
he started screaming like cussing like crazy. And I'm sitting there going, oh shit. And then I hear Mom stomping up the stairs. She goes, what is going on in here? And Dave's like,
There was lots of that. Dave would yell at the games. Mom would yell at us. Mostly you guys, not really me. I was such a good kid
I always thought that you were a really good kid.
until I started drinking.
Well, not even, that didn't even catch me off guard, even on that. But that is a very funny story. If I could tell that one story, which I've told many times
Where you picked
about
me
you.
up, slap me. Yeah, go ahead, go for it.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Yeah, we can move on to that. But yeah, I get what you're saying about everybody moving out and like missing that. Because I also think about, we've talked about this on the podcast before.
Yeah, you
my
did,
recurring
right?
dream about like my brother is like falling off the cliff and me not being able to catch him because it's
Yeah.
just like I felt like I like left everybody behind almost.
But,
kind of
but you
abandoned us.
didn't. And, the divorce, I mean, let's put it out there. I seem to, I have one, I have two. Todd's lucky because I didn't have any kids with him. So,
So you guys are good. You're stuck. It's the kids that break you apart.
Yeah, it's our fault.
So you're
definitely was true,
blaming
like-
us.
Did you find yourself going to any new like hobbies or something after the kids leave?
I've always liked hiking and walking, but really no, just more walking and exercising because
Hey, that's good.
and gardening.
yeah, and gardening.
I also think you got to stop. It feels like you think that like something is like your fault, like it's like you did something wrong by getting a divorce, and I think that's a terrible thing to think for yourself.
I still do.
Getting divorced because you don't feel like you're in the right relationship, and then maybe doing it a second time doesn't change anything. Like, it doesn't mean anything about you as a person. It means that the relationship wasn't working out. You didn't want to be in that relationship anymore.
But we're still all friends now.
That's good. Don't you think it'd be worse to stay with a relationship that two people don't want to be in, and kind of it could rub off on the kids and stuff? That would, I think, be worse.
That's true too.
Because also, like, look how we turned out. Kevin's fucked up. Dave's fucked up.
Jack's fucked up.
Jack is really fucked up.
I really messed Jack up.
I was all the way in Chicago.
But no, what I'm saying is, like, I feel like everybody's doing fucking fine. Kevin is like killing it. He's crushing it in college. Doran's doing great. He's in Long Beach going to college. Yeah. Dave is flipping careers.
Married.
He's been in so many different careers.
Yeah, he is. He's married. He bought a house all during COVID. That's pretty impressive.
His wife cuts Kevin's hair.
And his
She did a pretty good job. Fixed up your guys' job.
The point
did
is,
a great job.
If anything, we fucked you up, you know? I think we're all doing fine. You're the one who's going cuckoo over here.
So I am good. Let me move to a story.
Okay, what's the story?
I've got two. Well, one about you, which you've heard a million times, but Scott did have a few drinks. He took a bunch of, John Joe had a golf tournaments for the Harp Inn.
Mm-hmm.
He runs a bar. He's a bar owner.
The Harp Inn.
Yeah, the pub, right? And so he took a whole bunch of little vodka bottles. Didn't realize it, but he went out with his friends, and I got a phone call.
It was a Halloween night, okay?
I got a call, Mom, from one of your friends. I can't get Scott up. He's across from a school, and
outside.
Yeah, outside
on the sidewalk.
Passed out on the
we're
ground?
worried. Yep.
Must have been a good night.
So when I pulled up there, his friend said I can't get him up. So I had just walked over to him.
Slapped him in the face.
He kind of jerked up, and his friend said, "Oh, I didn't think of that." And I said, "Get him in the truck."
Slapped the shit out of me, man.
Well, I think it was more out of fear that a cop could come because you were right across from the street, passed out on a sidewalk at night.
Just to be clear, it wasn't like I was like outside of a school, like drunk or whatever. Also, I was 18 or 17
well, it was
even?
an elementary school that wherever the party was, you had just.
It was like the neighborhood, you know. You walk around like all the kids are like walking around the neighborhood drinking.
And it was late at night. It was early morning, right, or something like that.
It must have been like 12 or 1 o'clock at that point. I mean, I don't know.
But the best part of the story is that when his friend brought him home, we had a dog named Guna, and she was older and incontinent, and sometimes she laid on her little bed in the living room and peed on it. So that's where I told them to put him.
I remember like waking up in the morning. I walked downstairs and I was in the kitchen. I look over, I was like, "What the fuck?" Scott's on the dog bed. He's on the pee bed.
Well, I woke up and I went to my other bed where I should have been put. Well, they would have had to take me upstairs. So
yeah, it wouldn't have been kind for me to do to your friends.
Yeah,
that's what Mom was thinking.
You gotta be very kind to the friends. It's fair. I was laid down in my dog's piss because I got pissed drunk. It's a good metaphor. And then I had like an intervention. My stepdad had a conversation with me the next day about alcohol poisoning and how it could kill you and you drink too much and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because they just were pulling out empty bottles of these little vodka bottles.
Well, the story behind that is also, and I still kind of do this, is when nobody else is ready for the next shot, but I'm kind of like addictive personality. If it's in my hand, then I'm like, I'm going to drink it sort of thing. Like I had the backpack full of the little bottles. So we were taking shots together. And then occasionally I'd be like, I'm just going to have another one myself.
And that was probably the first time you had ever got drunk.
That was the first time I ever fucking blacked out, passed out, threw up, woke up feeling like I was dying.
You fully blacked out?
I mean, it was a long time ago, so I don't remember the night at all.
I would imagine that you blacked out.
But yeah,
it seems scary.
But also, like tolerance wise, now I can drink and not get drunk like that, but still not remember stuff if I was to drink a lot. but I would never I've never had a night like that in the past 10 years. Like I don't
You wouldn't do that.
pass out or whatever.
Neither have I.
You're a non-drinker. Yeah.
I've never had any of that. So.
Do you not drink because of watching Scott and
No,
owning-
like people always ask me like why I don't drink or like why I'm not like into like that whole like scenario or like the party vibe or anything. It's never like there's no reason. I just not into it.
Yeah.
I feel like I had to have like been setting
Maybe,
a
like,
good
some-
example for you in some way.
Yeah,
By
I don't-
negative
maybe
example.
like subconsciously, but I've never really thought about it. It was something like I remember when people like first started drinking in high school. I just kept thinking of like the 5th grade, like when they'd give us like wristbands, like say no to drinking, say no to drugs. And I was like, these kids are
Dare.
stupid. Like, yeah, we're not supposed to be drinking, and I think that just kind of stuck. I was just like, I don't really want to drink.
And your dad owned a pub, and you did never like the atmosphere in there.
I still don't.
I think,
And I work there.
so you say you don't know why you don't drink or you just don't like to drink, but I do think there probably is some subconscious there where it's like,
Yeah.
you know, when we were drunk after Dave's wedding, you were telling your dad, no, you can't have another beer.
Oh,
Don't do it."
yeah.
You know, like you obviously, it's kind of instilled in you. You don't like to see people drunk beyond their coherency, you know, like you're
At
you're
a
not
certain
into
point, it gets kind of embarrassing, especially when it's your dad.
But Kevin is very stubborn sometimes. So this was the wedding, the night before wedding, right?
Right.
And
Yeah,
the
it
night
was.
that you got hurt, but John Joe wanted to have a shot, and Kevin's in the background. No, come on, Kevin.
He was making like noises. He couldn't even talk. I was like, come on, like I gotta get him in the car. I was like, I don't want to drive him home.
But Kevin can have that face. It's not loud. He's not angry. It's just simply no.
No.
Yeah.
He's firm. So when you have kids, oh.
Have you ever heard Kevin scream in anger at anyone or anything?
No.
Besides when he was like a baby and he didn't want to eat his green
I
beans.
don't get angry too much.
No,
Like a pig.
I think you do get angry, but you don't scream.
internalize
You
it
don't.
as-
Yeah, you don't shout it out.
It's all inside. What are
Yeah,
you
I'm
angry
kind of
about?
like that.
I'm not angry about anything.
What are you so upset about right now?
I'm having a good day.
What
Things are
sounds-
going good.
What's
Sounds
the
like
last
a lie.
thing you can remember that like made you mad?
That made me mad.
Getting caught stealing.
Stealing.
Oh, that's right. You never did that.
Who did that?
I don't think any of you guys stole that I know of.
You know, I told you.
You stole?
I pulled a Euphoria. You know how they okay, you guys don't know this because you don't watch it. But when I was again 18 years old, I think when we didn't have alcohol, one of my friends would drive to the liquor store. I'd jump out, run in, grab a box of beer, and just run out and get back in the car. And we did that at like
Wow.
7 different liquor stores until one of them I went in and tried to. And I'm like such a jackass too. I like walk into a liquor store and like grab a box, and I was like, I'm just gonna walk out with this, okay? And the guy's like, no, the fuck you're not. And he like pulls a gun out of his cabinet, and I was like, all right, I was just kidding.
That happened?
That legitimately real life actually happened. I'm not making it up.
Did
But it
that
was-
scare you from stealing again, or did you do it other times after?
I was in such a drunk and jovial mood that it didn't really matter to me. But also like
Wow.
because it was always like I was drunk when I did it. So I'd wake up the next day and be like, ooh, I feel like a fucking asshole. I think I did it a few times and then I never did it again. Like it was like a, damn, I don't even want to, like I did it at the 7-Eleven
Did your
that I used to
friends
go
encourage
into.
you to do that?
Yeah, it was funny.
Were you the bad influence, or did you have bad influences?
Everybody was a bad influence on each other. Like,
Yeah, but I don't think I would ever hear you tell somebody to go do that, even as a joke. I don't think they would do it. I don't think you would have it in you to tell somebody to do that.
No, I would never tell someone else to do something
You would do it
instead
first.
of me doing it. Like it would always be like someone else's idea that I would do, or it would be my idea and I would do it. I would never be like, oh, we should jump off this bridge into the lake, and then it not be me the person, not
Right.
be me that was the person to do it. You know, like I definitely wouldn't encourage someone else to do something dangerous if I wouldn't do it myself. So at least that's good.
I think I kind of do egg on my friends sometimes. Never like stealing or anything, but like I think it's
To go
funny.
talk to that girl. Go talk to that girl.
I think it's funny when like, yeah, there's like a scenario like bring something up, like I'm not doing it because usually I'm not like I'm not drinking or anything, so it's like they always like want to do something, and as soon as they bring something up, I go, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Like go do that.
Yeah.
Just watch from afar.
There's such a position of power that you're in as the sober person.
I'm
where
always the driver.
You're always the driver, but also you're just in control of yourself and everything that you're doing. You won't make a stupid decision.
But I mean, I think a big reason for me like not drinking is I like to just be in control. I don't like being out of like my own like mind.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I like to stay grounded. A little
Also,
bit.
legally, you can't drink.
Of
so.
course.
Oh yeah,
following
there
the
is
law.
that point.
I also didn't drink till I was 21. So.
Wow.
Just like you, buddy.
We're doing good.
The first time I drank, do you remember, Mom?
14.
No, I was 17 it was in high school. It was my senior year of high school. And I was like, Mom, I think I'm going to do something stupid tonight. I really want to try drinking.
Yeah.
And
You asked your mom?
you dropped me off at the party. And you're like, okay, just like be careful and call me when you need a ride home, because you're a fucking cool mom who was gonna let me like try it without, in a safe environment.
But when I look back on that, was that a cool mom, or should have I been? No.
No, I think that's good, because I think parents that are over strict and like forbid that stuff and ban it, I think that backfires.
But I did know where he was going. I was picking him up, right?
Yeah, you picked me up, and I was like, I don't even feel drunk, but I was so talkative. So you were like, well, you're definitely a little drunk. But no, I agree with like, if you were stricter, it would have made me like want to do it, and I would be going behind your back versus like just very lightly. I had the one mistake Halloween night where I drank so much, but for majority of the majoritatively, if that's a word.
Sure.
Like
It works.
Dad had quit drinking when I was 10 or 12. And so he was super, super against it. It was like, don't drink. You can't stay at my house if you're drinking, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. Whereas I felt like, well, now I want to drink because you're saying like, I can't even live here if I drink, and like stuff like that. So like having a more comfortable sort of, you can drink if you are safe.
Instead of making it a big deal, like other countries, they have wine on the table at an early age, right? So drinking is not this big thing. It's just like you're having a glass of wine. You don't need
in
to
Europe,
get...
the drinking age is like 16 or maybe 18. I don't know, but it is younger.
Well, it's more acceptable, so it's not made to be such a thing, a rebellious thing, whatever you're going to do when you're drinking.
Yeah.
And then you look at Lucas, your dad was okay with him. I wouldn't say okay, but he was less strict.
He let it go kind of after the first one. He was like, maybe if I'm just a little looser on it, then he won't drink quite as much. But I think that it all comes down to, it's not even like how the parents really react to how you're drinking or whatever. It's more about, what kind of personality do you have? Do you have this gene in you that makes you overconsume?
And you definitely had the gene, because
Scott has it.
But on a serious note, your dad and myself, like any issues I've ever had in my life is from drinking.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's not. It is poison.
It is.
Like getting drunk is your body trying to like shoot out the poison in your body.
Well, it's so interesting too, because like you're an anxious, nervous wreck. You drink sometimes to kill the nerves. Dad's on Prozac now after getting off of the alcohol, because he started taking anxiety medicine because he thought that he was going to crawl out of his skin because he was losing his fucking mind without any sort of vice to shut down.
That's why I think he was drinking. It was self-medication for him.
I mean, that's primarily, it's self-medication plus addictive personality. So it's like, I want to chill out a little bit with a drink, and then also once I start,
you can't stop.
I just can't stop. It's like a Pringles. Once you pop, you just can't stop.
Pringles are good. Kevin, do you think that's any of the like worry or
what do you mean?
Restraints
like
you have
addictive?
of drinking, is you might be addicted to it, or you might get addicted?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I mean, it's just not something I've ever really been into. Like I said, like I don't like the like whole losing control. And I think, especially when like it first started and stuff, because I didn't drink, I'd like watch all my friends and like how fucked they'd get, and I'd be like, yeah, it's not like, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to wake up the next day and people be telling me what I did.
Right. Yeah. And they're always like hungover and shit, and like saying how like the next day they feel like shit. And I was just like, well, I feel great, and I had a great night. Like I had great the whole time,
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I think a lot of people, like especially like high school age and like later on, like when you go to parties, they're like always super anxious and like nervous, which like you obviously are. So like a lot of people just drink just to like get some liquid courage going.
Ease the nerves.
But I just kind of like pushed through. I was like, if I could not drink and have fun, then like it's like double like win.
Yeah, you're courageous.
Double win.
It's like
for
a
sure.
double win.
That was. You're exactly right. You have to like push through those situations in order to like
Because now
get
I can
comfortable in
I
them.
can go to parties and I do have fun, and I can be outgoing and like have fun and dance and do everything that I want without drinking and like doing all that shit.
Yeah.
It's
you know?
so
Right.
hard to imagine you going dancing and stuff.
I love
People.
dancing.
Yeah, let's
I
see your
know.
moves.
every time I say like, okay, Kevin, dance for the video. He's like,
I love dancing. Is that a good or bad thing?
That's
I mean, I don't know if you're like the greatest dancer in the world, but I mean, it's cool to me.
Maybe I shouldn't be
It's the
dancing.
confidence.
I'm gonna start
that
drinking.
counts. We shame Kevin into drinking.
No. Don't do it. Don't start. Well, you said you had a couple embarrassing stories. What else?
Oh,
do you have?
one
What was the
was
second?
well, let me tell about Kevy because
Yes, please.
he was well, he's a great student now, but he wasn't always a good student.
No.
Right.
He sucked. It was so challenging.
Tell me about it. It was hard.
He would do his homework and it would be in his backpack and he'd go to school and it never made it to the classroom. I don't know what happened.
I thought you pretended to do your homework. You like would write shit down on it and be like, okay, I'm done, and then like put it back in your bag.
You know,
and,
there
like,
was
bring
there
it.
was a lot of times where I did the homework and I'd bring it to school and just not like I'd forget to turn it in.
What?
And it sounds crazy, right? But he did that all the time.
I
All
was
the
not very good
time.
in school.
Did you ever cheat on tests or quizzes?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I did
Aw.
almost
What?
everything.
But obviously
How?
not very well because I didn't do
Phone.
good.
Did you pass that class?
I
that
passed
you
all of my
cheated?
classes. I've never failed a class.
Yeah.
Any D's?
Mm-mm.
C?
Well, maybe I've gotten a D at one point. Not in high school though.
So the story, that was the start of it. He didn't do well all the time in school. Sometimes he did, but I would be checking his backpack sometimes. You know, typical mom. Let me see your backpack. Are you organized?
Uh-huh.
And try to
not.
organize them. So he would lay it out. One was on the floor. And he'd put out his stuff. And I went to go do something. I said, get out XYZ. And then I came back and I looked through it and everything looked good. And then the following week I was cleaning and underneath the couch was the paper that was an F or a D crumbled up under it. And all I could think of is, I was angry, but it was too funny because I'm like, if you're going to do this, you have to be smart enough to go back and get the
I
paper
remember
when I'm not
when you caught
around.
me and you started yelling at me. I was like, "Fuck!" Like I got away with it, and I left it there for a week. Really. I was almost in the clear. I think there was even a time during the week I looked at it and go, "Oh, I gotta move that," but I'm gonna get that later. Like I'll remember.
But
so
that's where
funny.
your mind went.
Well, mom
But-
was like constantly cleaning too. Like that's what
Yeah.
she did at home was like cooking
That wasn't
and
very
like
smart.
constantly cleaning up stuff. Like so, like you leave something under the couch, she's gonna get it.
I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
And I think as busy as I was with all you boys in the house, that's what kept me going is like I had to have something clean or tidy, make meals. It made me feel, I think, useful as a mom. And that going back to the divorce thing, I think I did too much for the kids. You included, Jack.
Yes,
And
of course.
That
He's like,
was-
you weren't even present in my life.
That was too much.
I think some moms or dads, parents do that because there's subliminal guilt. So you do too much, you're
Overcompensate,
not,
yeah.
you're picking up their clothes and picking up the glasses and not telling them to do it and teaching them. I don't think I taught you guys how to do some of things to make you more efficient as an adult, doing your laundry and
I learned.
yeah,
Well-
you learn. And I think I did too much for you guys.
Maybe.
Kevin and Doran lived in with you and John Joe.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't have a split household. Dave and I split like week to week or weekend to week
Mm-hmm.
days. Mom's house, dad's house, switch off weekend to weekday.
And
Like,
then it just became wherever, whenever type thing.
Yeah, that was-
sometimes later on.
that was towards like when I was like 18. Then it was
Mm-hmm.
like that. But I mean, I remember a lot of the time we would be told to do the dishes over at Dad and Jocelyn's. At your house, I remember helping do the dishes sometimes, but a lot of times you would just do the dishes.
I would just do the dishes, and sometimes I think you guys actually wanted to help do the dishes, but I'm like, no, I got this.
Yeah, or it would be no, I got this, or like you're just gonna get in the way. Not that voice, not so gremlin-y, but
yeah, definitely. Scott, thank you. But I think part of that was because I had my routine. My efficiency was boom, boom, get it done, move on.
yeah.
I remember times being told to clean dishes at George's house. Like, I'd be over there and be like, all right, you got to go do some chores.
And you're probably like, I don't know how to do the dishes.
I know how to do the dishes.
It's funny
We
because
got to
like
work.
even now, like living with my roommates, or I have an assistant that does the dishes sometimes, and like I'll be explaining to them like, all right, you still have to scrub the plate before you put it in the dishwasher because it's just a desanitizer.
Sure.
It doesn't get the shit off the plate. Like,
Yeah.
and like I'm cleaning up after Jack. I'm picking up her clothes and stuff. So I have a lot of like the mom gene where it's just kind of like you just want to do it yourself.
Well, and I also feel better when things are organized. If it's not, I feel
Definitely.
chaotic. It feels like I feel unsettled. If I was sitting here and I saw stuff over there, I would have to literally get up and go pick it up. And I've done that when we've had big guest and family events. I'll be talking to somebody, so I'm staring at you and you're chatting away. And the corner of my eye, I can see a picture that needs to be straightened.
Does it?
We didn't hang him very well.
We call that MOCD.
Mom.
Mom OCD.
Are these wires tripping you out?
No, I'm good with them. I'm
trip
good.
me out.
I'm just not looking. You need to cover it. I think the other thing for me is I always wanted everything clean because I thought that's how people based their thoughts about how I was. Like if my home was clean, my kids were taken care of, they had to have their homework done.
Right.
And I think I was the one that was always yelling at you boys to get your homework done and get things done. I feel that, and this is just my perception, I felt like that was my job because nobody else was making sure that you were going to do a good job in school. And that was my job to make sure that you did because I was the mom staying at home. So
And
Well,
Kevin
have you
really
s-
sucked.
Have you seen the show Modern Family?
no.
So there's a Phil Dunphy and then his wife, Mrs. Dunphy. I forget her name. Fuck. But
Miss Dunphy?
they get in arguments about this because she feels like she needs to be the bad guy. She's always the one who's yelling at the kids to do their homework, to clean things up or whatever it is. And the dad just gets to goof off and have fun with them.
That's
and stuff like
exactly
that.
how I feel it was with your dad, with John Joe. Exactly. So I
see that.
agree with her, and I haven't even seen the show. Continue on.
I'm just saying, I think that is definitely like a part of parenting is where like one parent usually is more of the bad parent, not the bad parent, but like
no.
the bad guy in the situation versus
Right.
the other person. And then like John Joe, obviously that was part of the thing was that he was always at the bar working, or like at nighttime he wasn't even there because he was at the bar working. So obviously
you
you're the
know-
one taking on the brunt of the.
But it sucks because in my mind, I thought I was the best because I was doing all of that,
You
right?
were the best.
You were the best.
Thank you. Jeff.
You were the best. Yes.
Thank you.
Late to that one, Jack.
But you also think, but those are the memories you guys have. You sometimes the yelling or the, yelling at you guys might be more of what you remember as opposed to all the times I've took you on hikes and walks and.
I'd say it's the opposite. I don't remember I don't remember you yelling at me at all.
It's because I never did.
No. I have, yeah, like
I just scratch all of that.
I do always remember though, like going on walks and going out for lunch and stuff like that. But rarely, like I know you yelled at me for like school and stuff, but like that was to me like more so like, yeah, I do need to be doing my shit. Like at least someone's telling me to go do something. Like I need to do the homework.
I have some very fond memories of you being like a very hardworking mother. So
Yeah.
when your first divorce with my dad, we moved into that apartment complex and you were working, I think, real estate and working as the like
Resident manager, 32
resident manager
apartments.
of the apartments. So you were like working on two different jobs, struggling to pay rent. Like we were just kind of like, we were going back and forth. And I really wanted Pokemon cards, and like we didn't have money for that. But I remember,
this.
going and like taking me to buy a couple packs of Pokemon cards,
And I was like so happy I was able to do that.
and it was awesome. Like it was, it was so like I knew how hard you were working, and I was the oldest son. I still am.
Yeah,
but,
you were.
But I remember always wanted to like help in ways that I could, but you know, I'm too young to go to work and stuff at that point. But the, you know, it always showed how much that you wanted to make us happy. Whenever you didn't have enough money for all the things all the time, you would do the things like take us on hikes when we didn't have a lot of money, or like you would scrounge up money to buy me a pack of Pokemon cards because that's what I really, really, really wanted. Like, so I don't think you did a bad job of being a parent.
Great job.
Thanks.
Those are the memories that I have. And yeah, I remember you yelling at the other kids because I was such a good kid. But like, that's minute.
I feel like you gotta yell at your kids too.
You have to.
You
You gotta
can't
give
raise a kid without yelling at all.
You gotta give them a spank or a smack every once in a while too.
Well, you guys, I never spanked you guys. I did slap Scott in the face.
To wake him up.
He had it coming.
Well, that was on Vine was totally different, but
She slapped me like 20 times in a minute. It took
well,
6
then
seconds.
you told me to.
I would say no, harder.
That one didn't look real or feel real. I want to feel it.
And before you even had the video out, like his face was already red. So
We'd have to cheat it where I angle it this way if she slapped me this way so that you wouldn't see the red mark.
it was bad. But when you were 2 years old, and it was just a reaction.
You slapped me in the face when I was 2?
I was having a chat with you about something, and you spit in my face, and I went.
Why am I getting hit?
You know,
I would do that.
Sample. And your dad was so upset. I'm like, George, it was just a reaction as I'm wiping the spit off of my face.
You slapped the baby.
I think that's justified.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think that was the only other time, because timeouts were really big back then.
Yeah.
And that's a really funny story. You should tell that one.
What story? I just remember standing in the corner.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
Yeah.
That was my timeouts.
But then Scott, David did it too. He said, I don't care. I'm like, well, you're going to care now. We're done with timeouts. And again, I didn't spank you, but it, you know, getting in your face was better than doing some little timeout. I did give a pat on the tushy if they were walking out in the street, because I'm like, okay, a little pat on the tush or getting killed by a car. I think I'm going with the tush.
Yeah, what's better than a little
Or Johnny, don't do that. Let's go home and do a timeout, okay?
Yeah. You know what's crazy about timeouts now is like we would have to stand in the corner with nothing, face the wall,
Right.
and like that's a legit timeout. You don't get to do fucking anything. Now,
They go into their room full of toys.
toys, computer, whatever, the timeout is like a parent will be like, okay, I'm taking away your phone for an hour.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best one. You take away their phone, their Xbox, their VR.
It was hell for an hour.
We didn't like, you know, I sound like a boomer. I'm not. You're a boomer.
You're millennial.
Or wait, are you Gen X or boomer?
X.
That's an
I
actual.
think.
Oh wait, Gen
generation.
X is boomer,
Yeah.
right? Boomer's just like this.
Boomer's not an actual.
No.
No.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Baby boomer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, baby boomers.
Baby
are-
boomer, I think is like 66 or older.
Say that's fast. Baby boomer, baby boomer.
Baby boomer, baby boomer, baby
Baby
boomer.
boomer, baby boomer.
It's the generation born like right after World War II.
So mom is Gen X. My dad is baby boomer.
When you have Doran on, he can tell you it all. He retains all that information. It's irritating.
Kevin and I are Gen Z.
You guys are both Gen Z? You're a Gen
Cool.
Z too? Wow.
Yeah, I'm like a year in the cutoff.
I think I might be before, aren't I?
No, you're not millennial.
No. After, I mean.
There is no next one yet.
Yeah, but
There actually is.
I thought
They
there
haven't
was.
named it yet though. I think it'll be like
Yeah, but
the
I thought I
9-year-olds
was
now.
in that one though.
No, it'll probably be like the 9-year-olds.
Oh, cool.
It goes
We're only 5 years apart. They're at least like 10 years.
it goes baby boomer, Gen X, millennial, Gen Z, and the next one's just gonna be fucked up. These kids are fucked.
Yeah.
So you retained all that information. I take that back. You're irritating too.
Yeah. That is irritating.
I am
That's
really
what I would say.
irritating.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry for being so irritating.
That's
Well,
okay. You
speaking
can work
about
on it.
like not being good in school, I just got into Long Beach, so that was pretty good.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, we didn't talk about that on the last podcast
Yeah,
because
you texted us, but yeah, we haven't.
we were had you already gotten in when we did the conspiracy theory
No.
episode?
It was just
okay.
after. 'cause
Yeah,
it
you
was a
texted
while
us
ago.
like last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Congratulations,
Got
my dude.
Conditional acceptance.
Superstar.
We are all super proud of you. Everybody in the comments is proud of you too. Just read the comments right now.
Yeah.
I'm reading.
Whoa,
Read it.
they
Look at
said
him. Take a
congrats,
look.
Kevin.
Can't wait to see you star on the football team. Kevin the quarterback.
Well, it's exciting because like I never was good in school, so I never thought I'd like make it to like a college or like a university or anything. And I'm still waiting on a couple to hear back from, but like
Yeah.
big for me to like actually get into somewhere.
But you got into the
But-
one that you wanted already. So
One
it's
that I
like-
really want because I want to be close to home, and also I can take my brother to school because he has a hard time like getting to school and
Yeah.
getting home.
But
don't
you
try
know,
it.
when you say you weren't good in school, you did have some, but you were so intelligent and you had it in you
I just
to
didn't
do
want
it. But on some of the courses, he was really good.
not in
So-
science.
home
surprisingly.
economics.
Yeah, like home ec I was good in.
And home
But the
ec.
funniest thing is I hated like science classes. I took like biology and chemistry and I hated it. And now I'm a bio major and I love chemistry. I've
But I
taken
think-
every chem class. you
Chemistry
can
was one of my favorites. That
offer.
was
Yeah.
fun.
But don't you think a lot of it is the teachers?
100%.
It's how they get you involved and like
Yeah.
the
It's
Kinda,
class.
My
it's kinda
chemistry-
me.
Hey Jack, you're interrupting my mom. She's speaking on the podcast right
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you were filming an episode.
Jack, honey, I want you to go out to the store and get some good pimple medication.
Do you know I have 3 different concealers on this pimple right now? It's showing. 3.
Jack, you can't even see it. Your face is gorgeous. Don't worry about it. It's kind of like a
Thanks.
unicorn, but it's okay.
Okay, I love you. I'll text you when we're done.
When you held up the phone and said, Jack, you interrupted
thought-
my mom.
I thought we
you were doing a bit. Because I thought I interrupted. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry.
I mean, actually, it was me interrupting because I answered the phone.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I had realized that I had to answer the phone because I didn't text her before we started the podcast, and she had texted me back. I do this thing where like there's a couple people on my like always answer list, and Jack is one of them because I'm like, if she ever like is out and like she calls
or
me,
she
then I'm
needs
like,
you.
Yeah.
What if she needs
you
me?
need to
Who else
be
is on
there
the
for her.
list?
who else
Not
is on
me.
the list?
I can tell you that.
Well, I know you did.
Yeah, I'm not on there
What?
either.
Just saying.
I'll call him and he'll text me. He's like, hey, I'm pooping. I'm like, and?
I'll call you back. Yeah, I guess there's only really one person I'm like. Not upgraded. I got an Apple Watch for the purpose of being able to get a text message here so I can like go like this, check my message without having to like reach into my pocket.
It's Mom. I'll get back to her in 2 days.
Oh, fuck it.
No, but the point I was getting at is like, I don't wear it anymore. I had to take it off because I was like constantly
Yeah.
like, I'm doing this all the time. If I'm talking to you and I'm doing this, like I'd rather leave my phone in my pocket and also be a
Yeah.
little bit less connected to my phone, you know?
Well, don't you think if you look back at it, don't you think it adds more stress, a little like pressure on you that you have to check all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. The only thing I did like about it was that I could set a buzzing alarm on the watch. So if I went to sleep with it
Oh,
and I
yeah.
didn't want to wake up Jack, then I could just,
And it
would-
vibrates on your
it
on
would
your
wake
wrist.
me up only. But meanwhile, you know, she doesn't give a fuck. She'll put her alarm on at like 7:30, and then I wake up and she doesn't wake up at all. I have to turn off her alarm.
And 10 minutes later, it goes off again.
Yeah, and then she doesn't get up till 10. I'm like, why did you have a 7:30 alarm set? She's like, well, I wanted to get up, but I just didn't.
I turn on like 6 alarms
Oh, I do the same
for like
thing.
5 minutes after each other. So I like can't. I
Oh.
can't
'Cause
fall
I'm
back
so
to
bad
sleep.
about pressing like sleep and just
Yeah.
going, like laying back to. So I like set like 10 of them because I'm like, all right, well I
Yeah.
can't press sleep because they're gonna keep ringing anyway.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I've learned to be a little bit less considerate though, because I realized that she's really good at sleeping. I'm the one who's bad at sleeping. So when
Right.
her alarm goes off and it wakes me up, I can't go back to sleep. But when my alarm goes off, she doesn't even wake up. And if she does, she just closes her eyes and goes right back to sleep.
I wish I never had to sleep.
Well,
Really?
Well,
Yeah, think
I
about all the
guess,
stuff
I
you could
guess
do.
you could get a lot of stuff done, but
Yeah.
as long as you were a busy person, but my Jack is, so you'd be fine.
of course, he's such
Yeah.
a. He actually is a very. He's like a workhorse. You know, he's constantly editing. He's going out filming stuff, taking photos. He's like always doing something. I feel like.
I think that's my lack of like planning and scheduling though. Like I think
I'm
I'm not
so
good at
bad
that,
at
so
that.
then it's always just chaotic for me,
Yeah.
and it's just because I'm not good and organized with that.
Do you do better when you write things down? Because I do.
Yeah, No, I have to set reminders on my phone. It's like change the laundry, go do this, go do the dishes, because I like if I do something, I'll get lost in it.
And do you
can't
feel
keep
good
it
when
up.
you check it off? Because I have it out on mine too. And then sometimes I do other things, and then I'll put it on my notes on my phone so that I could check it off.
I've done that too. I'll be like, I'll add waking up to my to-do list and be like, I checked one off already.
Oh, man. Okay, well, I'm a little better than that. I'm like, I scooped kitty litter. Put that on there.
I haven't done the to-do list in a while, but I used to like throw in things and I'm like, this one will be easy to check off. Like, I know I'm going to do this today. It's not even like really a task. Damn. Well, I feel like we're getting we're talking about things that help us out here, things that are good for us, things we do, to-do lists.
I
talking to
actually feel
ourselves.
better. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm like, oh, this was good.
Yeah.
You told me how you felt about me as a mom, and that really made me feel good. So thank you.
Well, good. You're my mom, so I want you to feel good.
So I would lie anyways.
So obviously I'm going to lie when I tell you were a great mom.
I'm a great mom.
Yeah, and that's not a lie. It's
Thank
not a
you.
lie. But what I was saying about the advice and the helpful tips here is that I think we have some questions from people
Yeah.
Ooh.
that might be.
Well, it's for you guys, but I'll just chime in.
No, it's for. I mean,
It's
I think
for everyone, but we would love some motherly advice, and these people would as well.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
since it's mom is on the episode, we might as well give them the motherly advice, and then
Yeah.
we'll give them regular advice from dumbasses
Right.
later. If you want advice for anything, then you should definitely follow us on Instagram
Yeah, there too.
at NGMI Podcast and on Twitter at NGMI Podcast, because we run these polls and ask questions on those social media platforms.
Yes.
It's the easiest
That's
way.
right. I've seen some of them.
It's the easiest way to get in touch with us. So just reach out on social media, and
Yeah.
then we'll post stuff about our emails or questions and answers on.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the question.
I am looking for advice on whether you recommend roommates or not, and do you have any roommate horror stories? I am moving to go to school in the fall and need to figure out my housing. Is the financial benefit worth the risk of a roommate from hell? What if I'm the roommate from hell?
I feel like Scott has some stories on this one.
Do you?
I mean, I have stories about roommates and then not having roommates and stuff like that.
You have
I guess I
roommates
do
from
too.
hell with a dog that they didn't look after, that shit all over the place, that had parties, that crawled outside the window and into your locked room when you were gone.
Yeah, made love in my bed while I had a deadbolt locked door with like a key, and one of my friends went through the balcony, opened my window from the outside, and crawled into my room. And when I got home, I was like, what the fuck? And like, first of all, why are all my friends here? Because it was like I lived with two girls that were also my friends, but they were not like my closest like friends or whatever. And so one of my friends suggested having people over at the house because he knew the other two girls too, and then invited all my friends over there. So I got home from work, like I worked at the bar at this time, so I got home at like 1:30, and people were just belligerent drunk in the apartment. One of my roommates had a dog, a basset hound, that would shit all over the floor in the house because it was meant to shit on the balcony, but the balcony was covered in so much shit that was never picked up that it started shitting on the inside of the house too.
That's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for the dog.
I did too, but she loved that dog. She just couldn't pick up the shit.
So you would say spend the extra money and don't have a roommate.
I think that.
But you got a roommate now.
I mean, I knew these people. They, like I said, they were friends. They weren't like my super close friends at the time when we moved in, and I probably shouldn't have moved in with them without knowing more about how they lived. I have friends that I lived with, you know, like Todd, Zane, Heath, Elton. Moving in with friends and people that you know
It can't work.
into a nice house where you guys get to like collaborate, have fun. It's like you're constantly hanging out, and you can go to your room if you don't want to hang out anymore, and it's saving you a lot of money on bills. So like if you know the person you want to move in with, great.
Yeah.
But if you're coming up with someone random, like I've heard plenty of horror stories about like
Yeah, I
didn't know
think
who it
she's
was.
saying she's going to school, so
Yeah.
it might be like a random
Right.
selected
I've
roommate. So
always
that
thought-
could be tough.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I've always thought like if I was going to like room with someone, I'd need like my own room because I know there's a lot of dorms that have like multiple beds
Yeah,
and you
to
stay in the
do
same
a-
room. And I think without my own like spot, I'd like lose my mind because
Right,
I
if
need like
you're
my
sharing a
own
room.
second for like to get
Yeah.
away from.
Like
Because
you're-
will a school just randomly select and just put two people together? Or
I don't know.
I've never
I
been to
don't know
college,
how
so I
that
don't know how that
works.
works.
You see it in like all the movies where
Yeah.
kids go to college. It's like, oh, you my roommate? Yeah, like,
Yeah,
you know,
is that
like so. I
actually
think
how
it
it
is like
works?
random when it comes to dorms sometimes.
That could be tough.
I think that would be tough. I don't think I would like that
Yeah.
at all because you could your personalities could be so different.
I
You
also
got the
feel
nerd
like
and
the-
the jock. You got the scene kid and the
Nerd.
nerd again.
Yeah, I guess I would say if it's completely random, I would say I would try and get your own place.
Try to.
Can I tell a story of when I was younger? I had roommates in a house, and it wasn't a good thing either because we all had our own rooms, which was great, but it was a house, so we had to have a schedule. It's me we're talking about, right? So schedule to mow the lawn, because otherwise one person was doing it all, and that would be me.
Yeah.
And so we had this schedule, but one of the guys was a cocaine dealer.
Nice.
Right.
So you always had a plug.
So he would invite his friends over to sample before the purchase. And every time they did, they would use the bathroom, which would use up the toilet paper. And I was so upset because I'm like, I'm buying all the toilet paper. This isn't fair because they're using it all up. Like, I was young too. So my maturity level was kind of low.
How old were you at that point? Was it like a college age or was it?
I'm 19.
19?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so I would get upset over everything that they were using up the toilet paper for their samples.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I mean, yeah, roommates just tough. Because like you said, like you can kind of like get to know people and sort of like deal with them and their differences. But like living with someone and having to share responsibilities or doing the dishes, sharing a bathroom, someone's messy, someone's not. Like,
And
I feel like
know-
that's where you really can clash.
I know like
Yeah.
a lot of people from high school that went to like college with their like friends and like they dorm together. And I'll like talk to them later and they're like, yeah, like
That didn't work out.
That happened to
Yeah.
me.
They
moved out
like they
here
said like I
from
still
high
love him,
school.
but like yeah, I could not live with that guy. Like it
Yeah.
just didn't work.
Yeah.
I also think that, okay, like a dorm situation is a little different. Like you guys are going to school all day. You're
Right.
out. You go to your dorm to like sleep or whatever.
Right.
I don't know exactly. You also go home on
Right.
school breaks and stuff like that. It's kind of like, it's an experience that I think that you could get through.
Definitely.
But I think if you're going to move into like an apartment with someone, then you're actually like living there and like
You
that
need to
can
have
be
a
more of a
solid
pain in the
roommate.
ass. Yeah.
All right. This one's a little personal,
Uh-oh.
but good for advice
From mom?
for everyone.
Oh. From mom?
This is from a mom.
Will the advice for this question be best given from a mom?
A female perspective.
Okay.
Love to have sex in crazy places, but boyfriend is too shy. What should I do?
That's a mom question.
Go for it. You just gotta, once you start, give them the taste of it.
Just got to ease him in.
You gotta ease him into it because he's insecure, maybe a little self-conscious, or it could be even religious based. He feels dirty doing certain things. So
He's scared about getting caught and getting indecent exposure.
I was gonna say the same
Yeah.
thing.
Well,
Well, it
you
says
mean,
crazy
where
places,
did-
not public.
oh,
just
okay.
Crazy could be
place-
like
yeah.
a kitchen
See-
counter or something.
Oh.
See, when I heard that, I'm thinking
I
in
was
the
thinking public.
household,
Oh.
doing fun stuff, and because it gets we get bored. We don't want just the missionary, same place, same time.
Men get bored too.
Maybe, do you?
I mean, it always feels good, but yeah, you like to spice. You like to spice it up with some difference.
Yeah, but you can still have your thing, an orgasm. Where as a woman, if you're bored, you're like, oh, please get this over with. I want to get to the laundry.
I feel like just maybe try and meet in the middle, ease him into it, maybe communicate, talk with him about it, figure out where it stems from.
Yeah,
As
because
long as
there
crazy-
could be a reason behind where he feels
Yeah.
a little uncomfortable.
As long as crazy places is like in the house, not like public area, then maybe it might be harder to convince.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
I'm so curious about the whole mile high club thing because that seems like such a pain
Dude,
in the ass.
That's impossible.
And like you
That's
both go into the
impossible.
bathroom at the same time, and
And
like,
everyone sees you, and it just like looks disgusted at you.
And
There's no
There's
way
no
that's
space
possible.
in there. I'd like to know anybody who has actually really done it.
I understand like a private jet. You
Yeah,
know, if
sure.
you're like on a jet with like a few friends or something like that, and like you and your girlfriend go to the bathroom.
But in one of those small bathrooms, and they always seem so like gross and dirty. Like,
Yeah.
where are you doing it? How are you doing it?
Well, sometimes you want to get gross and dirty, right? But I mean, I'm sure there's someone in the comments who's done it in an airplane because they were like, Mile High Club, we have to join the Mile High Club. Like,
Right.
how is it?
Right.
So let us know how it is in the comments.
Okay. How to get a guy to want a relationship with me? I feel like I give off the vibe that says friends with benefits.
These questions are too hard for me. Like, relationship advice is not good for me.
Oh, well, I think once again, well, you've only been with one girl your entire life too, huh?
Yeah.
These questions are
Christ.
for you. I've never been in a relationship.
But you
But I
have,
feel like you can put
you
your
could
perspective
still
into the
have a
situation.
common sense
Yeah.
thought on that.
Kevin, what would you do?
I don't know, like, not be as sexual, I guess. I don't know, like, how you give off that vibe as friends with benefits.
Well, how do you feel
I feel like friends with
yourself?
benefits
Do
would
you
be
are
not
you,
sexual.
That's what I'm saying, like, not be as sexual.
If
I
you
feel
want
like
to
you would be more sexual to get them to not think you're just friends with benefits. I'm thinking the friend zone. All right,
I was like, wait,
different.
I was
Okay.
like, where is Jack going with this?
Yeah, I was picturing friend zone the whole time.
Fucking
Okay,
making me sweat.
All right.
Like, I don't know, like, try and be more, like, asked to go on a date or something instead of, like, I don't know how you'd give off that vibe. Like, I guess just take it more slow.
Yeah.
I think that when you're younger, it's a lot harder to be straightforward because you're like, I don't know how to. Should I just ask? Should I be this or that? Like, I think what's really important and that you learn when you get older and older is to be more straightforward about what you want,
Yeah.
and to let people know what you want ahead of time. Like, if you're talking to someone that you're interested in being your boyfriend or girlfriend, then let them know that. Like, let
Yeah.
them know, like, hey, this isn't just like a hookup type thing for me. Like, I don't want it to be. So if that's all you want, then let me know, because I would like to have more than that in the future. Like, I
Right.
want to see where this goes. I don't want to just be like a fling thing or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Like, just being more straightforward. Like, it sounds simple, but just saying, like, exactly what you want in a, like, calm and easy manner.
The other thing, though, guys, is girls will often put themselves out there wanting, needing, feeling love,
Right.
whatever it is. So they just go ahead and do it. And it's kind of sad. I mean, I myself, when I was younger, had done that. And do you think that you're going to get into a relationship with that person afterwards, and they're thinking like, she's easy, she's fun,
Yeah, it is
she's
tough.
cool. I wouldn't even give that benefit first. That's my advice to the person. Don't
Go
put
back
your
in time.
Yeah.
don't do it. I don't know. As a female, we bond sometimes quicker. Like, you know, we're making love and we're having fun and we're whatever together. So I think you like me because we're doing that and we're going
Right.
out to parties
Right.
together. But obviously you kind of don't. You're looking at other girls and hooking up with other girls, and then you start feeling sad and depressed about yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're in a situation where you're hooking up with someone, but then you know, like, there's like we're not exclusive though. So like, I can be with other people. Like, you know, you'll get that
Yeah.
sometimes from a
Yeah.
guy, you know.
How do you handle fights with your siblings? Good one for us.
Let's go with,
One
Do you have
for
any siblings?
guys.
let's go with Mom and Uncle Tony.
Yeah, you have a brother.
I do.
My uncle, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tony,
It's
Italian. He's not Italian. Uncle Tony.
Well, you guys probably would have better advice because Uncle Tony was 4.5 years older than me. So there was no fighting. There was just me being submissive to whatever, you know, like we would do war fights with our feet on the couch. He'd always win. Or his friends would come over and let's play hide and seek, Sheila. And then I'd be blindfolded, go in, and they'd beam me with pillows, you know. So I don't know. That's
So you were just straight up bullied. But then there was,
but later on, like, we're adults now, like, and all that was funny. That was like, you know.
But you should also mention that even though Tony and you didn't get along great when you were kids, he was also your great protector.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Actually, because you had heard the story. So there's Tony. He obviously loved me very much. Like, anytime anybody bothered me, like I had a paper route when I was 10, and I would go around, and the same house would always tell me that they paid me, and I went home to my brother, and I'm like, they keep telling me that they've paid me, but they didn't pay me, so that comes out of my pocket. Well, the next time I went, they paid. So I don't know what he did. And another time, well, it was a different time period. So friends all stuck together and helped one another when anybody was in need. When I was at elementary school, I won't say the name of the because, you know, it's on podcasts, but her friend, my friend, her finger got hurt in the bathroom stall. And a day later, her sisters, and they were big Samoan girls, basically pushed me down, you know, roughed me up a little bit on the school grounds, let my brother know. Next thing I know, those two Samoans came up and apologized to me. And I never asked him what he did, but it was my brother that like nobody's
took care of
messing with.
business.
Yeah, but you know,
Uncle Tony.
You don't fuck with Uncle Tony or fucking you lose a finger or something, you know?
knuckles with the cigar cutter.
Fucking.
but I was different. Like I said,
Let me do this.
this.
I feel like this is offensive.
I think just Italians do that.
Do they?
You have to look that up because it's going to be on a podcast, and a bunch of Italians are going to go, "We don't do that.
It means, what do you want?
Fuck off."
In
what
Italy,
it
this
sounds
gesture.
like.
It means, what are you doing?
In Italy, this gesture tends to be used in disagreement, frustration,
You're
or
doing something
disbelief,
odd.
and can mean, what do you want, or what are you saying?
Che caso dici?
Is that how you say?
Damn.
I don't know. That's what it says.
Che casa dici?
What are you saying? Che caso dici?
You are doing something very stupid. Che casa fai? What are you doing?
So it does sound like it's something
Yeah, I
like
think
you're
it's used.
angry at the person, like, "What's up?"
I'm gonna start saying that when Jack's in bed watching Grey's Anatomy all day. I'm gonna be like, "Che casa fai? What are you doing? You're developing bed sores."
All right, so advice for siblings.
Oh, advice for siblings and getting
Sibling
in
fights.
No, you can even talk about your brother David. Like, I didn't know that you would run it because you guys never really fought.
I never had any fights, no.
No, there was never any fights in the house, right, Jack? Right? No fights.
No, me and
But
Jack never fought.
But Scott, I found out later on, used to run into David's room and fart in him. Fart in there.
him?
Well,
Open your mouth.
in essence, when you fart in a room, the poop particles you're breathing it in. So.
Gross. Yeah. So
But you guys never fought.
Brotherly bullshitting.
I never fought with like Dorn, Kevin, or Lucas. I never fought with Dave really either. But it's kind of that whole like brotherly love sort of thing where it's like I would kind of like lightly bully him, I think is what
Right.
the term would be.
Well,
but it would
everyone
be
kinda
like
does
I had a fart and I'm in my room and I run across the hallway into his room and I jump in front of him and fart and then I run away and like he's like, "Oh, what the fuck? Don't fart in my face."
Yeah, we never had like fights or anything, but always like little rough housing or like brotherly
Yeah.
like bullshitting around. Like, you know, they'd take your, you know, Game Boy or something and, you know, hold it or whatever. Like nothing like crazy. We never
I
had
feel-
any fights.
Yeah, I feel like siblings are bound to like fight and bicker,
yeah.
but it's just kind of like sibling things. Obviously, it depends on the situation, but maybe as you're an adult and you're grown ups, it kind of the severity of the fight sort of depends on the
Yeah.
situation and how you handle it.
Yeah, and I think there was more name calling, but
Yeah.
you know that was the thing. Like Scott's dad George has a twin brother, and I had never had that experience. Like Tony, I mean, he called me names when I was younger, yes, but I always thought that that's what boys did because his brother and him would, you know, dickhead, meathead, you know, they always had names. So when I heard you and David calling each other names, probably more you when you were older, right?
Yeah, maybe making like a pizza face comment, which I, in hindsight, am like, I regret because I remember he went to therapy and he called me and like talked to me about like the things that I did when he was younger.
Yeah, but we
that upset
didn't
him,
know, and
that
and I should have known more. But I thought it was part of, you know, that's what siblings do. But when I look back at it, yeah, I still remember it, so it hurt.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, as like an older brother now, looking back at the things that I would say, which I didn't think were terrible things to say, but looking back at how he may have looked up to me more than I knew.
Right.
Some of the comments that I made had a bigger effect on his self-esteem than I meant for them to have, because it was just me goofing off, not realizing that they could be taken more
Right.
seriously than they really were. Like it's funny because like he had pretty bad acne when he was younger, and I was always the kind of person that could look right through someone's pimple or whatever
Right.
and not give a shit if they had acne. And like I was always like, why do they care so much that they have a few pimples? Like it's not a big deal. And,
Yeah.
But like, you know, making a comment about him having acne or something, I understand that so many people are so like plagued and upset by that I understand why it would have bothered him in that like youthful time.
And the standpoint that you didn't have any,
Yeah.
like you
perfect.
didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my brother didn't, and I was pimple face. I had all the names. So I thought that was normal, and nobody ever beat each other up. I've heard lots of stories about siblings punching each other and having knockdown fights.
Yeah.
we didn't have any sort of like physical altercations with us growing up. I think it was just more unintentional psychological warfare.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How to deal with a job you hate but you can't quit because your parents won't let you.
Find new parents.
Good
No,
advice.
I'd
Nice.
say find a new job. Like try and substitute out.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Instead of just dropping the job, find a new job, because your parents will probably like be like,
Right.
okay, as long as you can,
Yeah.
find another job.
I'm sure in most cases the parents just
I'm
want
sure
you
it's
to
not
be
like-
working.
yeah,
So if you
it's-
find an alternative, that
I'm
could
sure
be
it's not
good.
like you have to work that job. Like,
Right.
Just find something that you'd rather do.
Mhm.
Unless it's one of those family business, like you're going into family
Oh,
business type
yeah.
jobs, then you're kind of screwed until you turn 18 and you
Yeah.
say, Mom and Dad, I don't want to do this line of work. I'm not going to do this. I'm moving out of your house. Like, it's kind of like if you have controlling parents like that are very much like, you live in my house, you're my family, you live by my rules, you're going to do what I say. In that situation, sometimes it's kind of like you have to wait till you're an adult to be like,
Yeah.
I can't
break
do
it,
this.
yeah.
This is
Try
not what I wanna
Kevin's
do.
way first, but if your parents say no because it is a job like that, then you might have to deal with it.
I had to deal
know.
with it. And try to find something good about the job, because once
Yeah.
you start thinking your job is negative and you don't like it and you hate it, that's all. You walk up to the job and you're already thinking in a
Right.
bad frame of mind.
Yeah, you got to think of the positives.
What pushes you to choose a new job? What are the reasons you take a new job / project?
I think you kind of like fall into something that like you're either motivated to do, or like something that you're interested in, and like experiment, like go like do something in that area and see
Yeah.
if that's like something you like.
Yeah.
That's
Even
good
just like
advice.
spending more time, like even if it's a job you want, like just go to that place and like see how it works behind the scenes and see like maybe I want to be a part of that.
To work
Yeah.
on a new project. Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is find something that you think that you're going to be passionate about, give it a
Right.
shot, and if you're not actually passionate about
Feel
it,
it
then you'll
out.
move on to the next thing again.
Yeah, and don't feel bad about moving on to the next thing.
Right.
Exactly.
I would never feel bad about quitting a job that I just started.
Oh yeah,
Like if I had to do that and I found something better, I wanted to leave a job. Like,
don't get too
just
attached.
quit. Who cares?
Yeah,
Once you find the job that you really love, and not a lot of people get to do that,
Yeah.
then stick with it, and then you're gonna do even better. You're gonna enjoy your life, because
Yeah.
that is part of it. Don't stick in a job that you hate unless
Yeah.
it's a family-run business. But that
then suck it up.
How to make friends as an adult.
Ooh,
Oh, that's tough.
I'm not an
tough.
adult, so I'm not really too
Yeah,
sure.
I'm guessing this is like post-college.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question in the standpoint. It depends on the individual. When I hear that question, the first thing I'm thinking of is autism. But that's not fair, because that's just a general question. Because I myself, I find it's awkward to meet somebody new and make friends with them. But the way you do it, in my opinion, is doing an activity that you like. Like, I love volunteering and hiking.
Right.
And I find those that we're like-minded people.
And just to clarify, the reason she thought of autism is because her other son, Doran, my other brother, is autistic. Just in case,
Right.
in case
She's not
anybody
making fun
doesn't
of him.
know.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Actually, more compassion about autism than anybody could possibly imagine.
This is something that I learned from being a social media person, basically, because I never made internet
true.
friends when I was
Yeah.
younger, but like a lot of people who are in my audience and like watch what I do and follow me, like they met through like enjoying the same thing, like my videos or music.
Right.
And it's just from like meeting people online. They've started group chats and they talk to each other, and like this isn't like the past of the internet where it's like someone DMs you and you don't know a face. There's no face to the whatever. There's no face to the username. Now it's like very much like who this person is that you're talking
Right,
to.
right.
Like they've become friends, and several of them like flew from different places to come to my most recent show in California. Like you can also make friends from your interest on the internet, other than just
Right.
like your
Yeah, find
outdoor
like
extracurricular
Right.
activities.
find a Facebook page that's like for Marvel, and find people that like Marvel with you.
Just
Talk with them
things
about
that you're interested in,
Oh, that's
No,
right.
it has to be Marvel.
or Marvel.
I was just going to
Everyone
say
gets Marvel,
that's
please.
what you're fascinated. Do you love, right?
Yeah, I love Marvel.
I love Marvel too, Mom.
I love it more than Scott does.
What are you talking about? How many times have you seen Endgame, huh?
See,
Like
now,
100?
sibling fighting.
I watched it on my phone when someone got a screen of it through Facebook.
I watch it on every single long fight I've ever been on.
Yeah, me.
Yes,
too.
but
Times
Jack
4.
has underwear with Marvel characters on it.
Yeah, well, I have Spider-Man, Me Too, You Too's thing.
Who brought that Thor?
You did, and you brought
Who
Spider-Man.
brought the Spider-Man?
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Who brought the Pikachu?
Me.
Scott brought the Santa and the multiple photos of himself.
I like Me Too. Well, guys, that was a beautiful episode of Not Gonna Make It.
That was.
The NGMI podcast. I don't know about that name.
Yeah.
I have a hard time remembering it, and I feel like an idiot, but I have to constantly go, not NG. And then I'm like, but what's the I again? Not gonna make it. And then
I feel like it's
feel
more
so
NGMI
stupid.
than not going to make it at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, let's find a new
The acronym
meaning.
could mean whatever the hell we want or whatever
Oh,
the hell
that's
you want.
cool.
Nobody gonna remember-ish.
Nothing's
is-
gonna matter, idiot. That was the start.
Nothing's gonna matter, idiot.
No, it's good. It's
need a
just
comma.
I am not really good. My memory is not good with that. Names aren't good. I'm not good with that. But I'm just telling you that I have a hard time, and I can't say it fast even.
Well,
I
luckily-
can't even say it right now.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you're listening, be sure to give us a review on the podcast, iTunes, Spotify. Give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let my mom know how she did, because she's definitely going to be reading these comments.
Yeah.
She'll probably reply to some and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, thank you for saying that." Or if someone says something mean about her, then she'll be like, "Well, you're not very nice."
Well, I don't think so.
Well, that is upsetting to me.
No, I'm usually pretty good if people say anything mean about me, but when they say something not nice about you, I want to just rip their hair out.
It's all right. I can do it myself these days.
Thank goodness nobody's ever done that about you, Jack, because
Yeah.
you're my special lovey.
Yeah. I'm fragile
Special
too.
lovey.
And this is our brainiac over here.
I don't know about that.
The little dentist.
How do we should come up with like a closing line. NGMI out.
Ooh, that's good. All right, do it again.
We'll all do it on 3.
Wait.
1, 2, 3. NGMI out. Wait, I said it weird. I said,
Did you?
NGMI out.
Okay, Borat.
It's Smash. 1, 2, 3. NGMI out. NGMI out.
Oh, yeah, to get the last one in.
No, did we all say it like that?
Yeah.
No?